Hello and welcome to livealittlehigher.com. Today we continue with our series on happiness with the Hasidic approach to joy by Rabbi Shlomo Majewski. Last week we spoke about being happy all the time, learning from Rabbi Akiva and Nahum Ish Gamzu about this will be for the good and this is good. Today we will talk in chapter 3 about seeing the silver lining. And Rabbi Majewski says here, he starts saying, yeah, it's beautiful to hear the stories of Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Nahum Ish Gamzu, but sometimes it is very hard for us to really see the silver lining. It's very hard for us common people to be able to connect to that way of thinking and living, because sometimes things happen that are really very hard to absorb. So here Rabbi Majewski is saying that the more we understand the connection between God and our world, how they are really one, and the more we understand how God controls every event that occurs, the more we can understand how everything ultimately is for the good. But sometimes it's very hard. So here, there are certain times when you cannot make the connection. In fact, sometimes we cannot see that something happened and in our lifetime we'll never see the good out of it. Sometimes we see people go through tragedies in their life, and at the end of their lives, they still live tragic lives. And we don't see it. So how can this be explained? One of the classic explanations can be derived from a story from the Midrash, which describes the journey that one of the sages, Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi, shared with Eliyahu Hanavi, Elijah the prophet. And once this Rabbi Yehoshua encountered Eliyahu Hanavi, and he asked him that he wanted to go with him in one of his trips. And Eliyahu the prophet, he really didn't want him to come with him because he used to do things that were surreal and mystical that not everybody could understand. But Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi nevertheless begged him so much and insisted so much that Eliyahu Hanavi said, okay, you can come with me, but you cannot ask one question the whole trip. You have to be mum. You cannot ask. Whatever you see, you cannot ask. So they went off on their trip, and the first place they arrived was the very, very humble home of an elderly couple, and the only thing they had was really a cow. That's all they possessed. And they stopped there to ask if they could stay there for the night, and the elderly couple said yes, for sure. And they gave them their room, and they slept in the floor, and they gave them everything they had to eat, and milked their cow and get them fresh milk, and she made cheese for them, and they treated them like royalty. The next day, when they're leaving, Rabbi Yehoshua, he sees that the cow died. And he's besides himself. He says, how can this be? This beautiful couple have nothing in their life. The only thing that gave them what to eat was this cow, and now the cow dies. But he remembered his promise to Eliyahu Hanavi, and he kept quiet, didn't say one word, and they continued on their trip. They said, thank you, and they continued. Then they come to a huge mansion, very big mansion, fortified mansion, and they knock on the door, and they ask if they can stay there the night, and they treat them very bad, not nice at all, and they said that they can sleep in the barn. Not even in the house. Imagine a huge mansion. The owner is one person that lives there with his servants, and he was not even able to give them a room. And they're in the barn, and there's a wall that is ready to fall. And then Eliyahu Hanavi made a prayer, and the wall became very, very sturdy and strong. It was unbreakable. And the next day they just said thank you, and they left. And Rabbi Yehoshua was beside himself. I don't understand. How can it be this couple that treated us so nicely, gave us everything they didn't have, and their only possession that can give them what to eat dies. And now we go to this mansion where they could have treated us like kings, given us a bedroom for each one of us, fed us, and the wall is going to fall down. And Eliyahu Hanavi prays that the wall should not fall down. I don't get it. And then they go on and they come to a town, and they have a beautiful shul, and the people are very rich, and they have beautiful shul, and they start looking to see who will host them for Shabbat, and nobody even looks at them, nobody hosts them, and they have to sleep in the shul that night. And before they leave, Eliyahu Hanavi blesses this community, that all of them should be leaders in the community. And they're all like, wow, amazing. And then they stop by another town, another community, not such a wealthy community, a poorer community, and that day everybody's fighting for them, everybody wants to host them, everybody wants to have them in their home. And at the end, when they're going to leave, after they've been treated with so much kindness, Eliyahu Hanavi gives them a bracha that one and only one of you should be the true leader of this community. And they leave. And Rabbi Yoshua was like beyond himself. He said, what is this? I'm sorry, I promised I was not going to ask. That was the pact we made, but I can't. I have to ask you, why these such weird occurrences? And he said, okay, I'm going to explain to you. The first couple we visited, the lady was very, very, very sick, and she was going to die. And it says in the Gemara that a person that is so poor is considered as if she was dead. So I killed the cow, so he killed it. No, he did a prayer so the cow would die, so the life of this woman would be saved and she would live many more years. Then we went to that miser's home, that big castle, big house, and we were put in this barn, and I saw there was this crack in this wall, and I saw that behind that wall there was a very big treasure that had been hidden there by the last occupants of this house. And truly the guy didn't deserve to find this fortune, so that's why that wall became so sturdy, he would never find the fortune. And then we came to this town where they had this beautiful shul, but nobody was kind, nobody showed Ochnasas Orehim, nobody showed values of Torah, and I gave them a bracha that all of them should be leaders. This is not a blessing, because when everybody wants to lead, chaos comes in. And then we came to this other town where the people were not so rich, but they had everything they wanted to share. And that's why I give them the bracha that they should have one and only one leader, because this will bring goodness to this town. So here, Rabbi Majewski is telling us that these stories contain a lesson for all of us. Like Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi, we have to realize that life is a large puzzle with thousands of pieces, of which we possess only a small portion. I don't know if you have ever put a puzzle together, but it's not so easy. And sometimes it takes hours and hours for us to be able to put it together. And sometimes we need extra people to come and put the puzzle together. One person alone cannot see the whole picture. So here it's natural for what we know about ourselves and about others is only a few pieces of the 5,000 piece puzzle. Is it any wonder that these few pieces do not seem to mean anything? The form of these pieces, the shape that results from their combination, does not look like anything, nor does it appear to lead to anything. If you look at the pieces by yourself, they are meaningless. Just when you realize they're part of a puzzle, they start to have value. And that's how life should be viewed. We don't have the whole pieces of the whole puzzle of life. Sometimes we encounter situations in life that have no explanation, logical explanation for us whatsoever. And it can happen through a whole lifetime where we'll never know the reason for certain things to be happening. But what we have to know is that there is a reason and there is a purpose, and we just don't have to know everything. And that's one thing that will allow us to live happier. When we have that need to know everything, if things don't make logic for us and we can't put the pieces together, and that will make us miserable. But when we can say, okay, I was able to form this little square of that puzzle, I was able to do this part, and I can see this part, and okay, the rest, maybe I won't ever get to see it, but this part I understand, that will allow us to live in a much happier way. Today we finish with this, and I wish you a beautiful week, a blessed week, and live a little higher.